Good. So, hi. It's good morning in the UK. It's good afternoon, also good midday in Africa, where it's good evening here in Victoria. And Tanya, you're in New South Wales, aren't you?
Yes.
You're in New South Wales. Kat's in Perth. Oh, we're all over the place. Don't you love this? I love the internet.
That's
I love it. Doesn't matter where we are, we can just catch up. It's like we're in the same room. So good to see you all. So why don't we just do a quick whip around, and we'll just, people just love sharing where they're at, particularly when they haven't done what they thought they were going to do, and they don't you hate when you've got to give a report and you've done bugger all? Doesn't matter. Okay, we're all here, and I think the bit important point is, and I've always said this, part of really, what have you ever heard the saying that the greatest part of success is just showing up? And even when you're not doing stuff, in fact, that's the most important time to keep showing up, because if you keep showing up, this is what I've learned, you'll do something. If you stop showing up, it's probably left your mind, left your heart, it's out of the window. But if every month, if you show up, something will happen. Eventually something will happen inside you that'll be the trigger that'll set you off on that path to get this thing finally done. So I was just trying to ease anyone's mind that I don't know if there is anyone that's feeling like this, but I just wanted you to know that you're right on track, even if you've done not much. So having said that, anyone, I'm gonna go straight to South Africa.
How did you know?
I knew, because June, I know you were doing stuff. I know you are. Tell us what, because you've been struggling a bit, but now, tell us where you're at.
After our last chat, I actually have taken a step back, and I'm putting in some personal development work to figure out my why.
Okay, and I think that's a great thing to do.
Yeah. So I'm showing up today to hear where everyone else is at, and showing up. Good girl.
And I think there's an important point there, because how many people start off doing something without real clarity on why they're doing it? And you can get 3 months, 6 months, 12 months down the track and wonder, why is this not moving? Why? And at the end of the day, often it's because you haven't really connected it emotionally to something that's important to you. So I think that's a wise thing to do, June. And showing up, 2 ticks for you. Well done.
Thanks.
All right, so let's go to the UK. Let's hear from Super Sue. Dr. Sue. Now she freezes. That would be perfect. You've just frozen, Sue.
Have I?
Yeah, you froze there for a little bit. I think you automatically, you've got a button to press freeze when you don't want to talk.
I was hopefully that in a smiley face. I get the why. I think the why is really important. I suppose I'm in a state of head down, just doing at the moment. And I think there's a mixture of kind of, I was tempted. Sometimes I think right now, I think I'm just in this, just keep doing something. I need to see that I've got my draft done. I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a bit nervous about going to the beginning, looking at it all again and thinking, I think that's when I'll be looking at what the hell am I doing? I kind of go up and down, and I missed the last meeting, and I listened to the Saturday forum, not the latest one, but the Saturday before. I found it really helpful, all the different ways to bust through things, and doing is, you hear me?
You keep freezing on us, Sue.
I'm going to go on the phone, because I think it's the I'm going to get on data. Hang on. It just got problems with our Wi-Fi. Serious problems. So that's where I'm at. Just keep doing something. I can't say it's kind of very up and down, but I'm on to chapter 9, Andrew. I've let go
Yay.
of chapter 8 and up to
That's awesome.
chapter 8. You know, even if it's not that, yeah, it's not where it needs to be.
Hey, now, Sue, let me just say, you're up to chapter 9. That's awesome, right? Honestly, that's amazing. You know how few people will get to chapter 9. Now, you'll sit there and say, yeah, but it's taking so long and I've been up and down. Who cares? You know, and this goes with, you know, what I was saying to Jean. Like, it doesn't matter. This is not a race. This is about getting it done. And so that's amazing. Being on chapter 9 is sensational. So you need to celebrate that, not try and justify why you're not further, okay? Because you are where you are, and there's a reason why you are where you are, and you're there, okay? And be happy you're there, because it's great. Because guess what the next chapter is after chapter 9?
10.
10.
And then it's the final one.
And then after chapter 10, what is it?
It's 11. And then, I think I'm nearly there.
And then it's almost a first draft. Now, I guarantee you, when you go back to read your first draft, you go, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? You will, but that's okay. Then you'll know what to do with it. You'll know exactly, because you've written the whole thing. You've got a sort of a more helicopter view of what you've done. You know, this is a mistake a lot of people make. I had this conversation with someone today. Was it you, Tanya? I don't know if it was you. Where people, no, I don't think this was you. Someone was on chapter 1, and was it you, Tanya? Tweaking, and stop tweaking. This is no tweaking allowed. That's on draft 1. Yeah, you just got to get, because you're tweaking something. You can't tweak a chapter when you don't know how it fits in the whole book.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you tweak, and you think you've perfected. Then when you come back to look at it, oh, that's rubbish. And you're going to, so you're so close. And we're going to celebrate big time.
You need to get this long to get that concept, but really, as long as.
Oops.
She'll come back.
That's fine. I'm going to go on the phone. Hang on. Just give me a moment.
While you're doing that, Sue, we might hear from, well, Tanya, tell us, because you've got good stuff. You're doing good stuff.
Thank you. Look, I've never done this before, and I don't have high expectations on myself. And, you know, in my line of work, because I'm an art therapist, it's all about process, and I'm not that worried about the task. And, you know, I don't know, the whole reason for doing it was, you know, this whole self-discovery and this creative, the creative process. And what I'm getting out of it is some more playfulness and having fun with just sort of, you know, some of the characters, and sometimes they're not even characters, they're objects. Like a pine cone. I went looking for pine cones because I've decided there's going to be pine cone people. It's my books for children. So there's pine cone people. So I went looking for pine cones, and I just loved that I was out looking for pine cones. It was like pretty amazing. So I'm writing the book, and you know, sometimes the self-doubt, you know, can kick in, I guess, but I just got to, like, you know, just, you know, dismiss that when it pops up, and when it sort of says, "What do you think you are, writing a book? You can't do this." And I'm like, yes, I am doing this. Shut up. And just keep writing it. So I'm on chapter 2 and I want to do, like, you know, 14 chapters. So I guess, like, you know, I'm going all right so far.
You're going great.
Yeah.
We've only just started. You're going great. And one of the things we caught up, I spoke to Tanya this morning, and she's got a beautiful 10-year-old son who's now, I've charged him with the responsibility of cracking the whip on his mum, because so he's now her accountability partner, isn't he, Tanya?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to remind me that I have to write like every other day.
That's awesome. Well done.
Yeah.
Hello, Justine. You're in trouble. What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you today? I didn't want to see you.
Yes, but I miss Saturdays, and you know.
You miss us already.
I did miss you. I need motivation. So
no, you don't. You need rest. Is what you need. So Justine's here. We launched her book last week, didn't we? Well, she's launched it a few times already, but we did an online launch for her new book, Same and Different, and she's just been winning awards and doing all sorts of amazing stuff, and she needs to rest.
I do.
So I told her today, we spoke for about 5 minutes. I said, don't want to see you because she's going away. I told her, I said, I don't want to see you, and here she is. Can't help herself.
Well, I thought you meant from tomorrow. I thought you meant from tomorrow. I didn't realize.
It's awesome. I always love seeing you, so I'm only kidding, of course. You know that.
I'm trying to keep in routines and normality of it all.
I know. So, but sometimes you just need, and this is hilarious, me saying this, because I'm the most routine person in the world, and I hate breaking routines. Like I'm just stupid, like you, Justine. Like we'll stick to a routine no matter what. But sometimes you just got to say it doesn't matter. The routine for the next few days, just throw it out the window and just rest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the world will keep turning. Everything else that you're doing is going to keep happening.
Yeah, it will. So I came in to be inspired tonight.
Okay. Well, we're already, there's some inspiring stuff going on for sure. So, so good to see you, Justine. It is good to see you. Terry, have you got anything you want to report, mate? Because we haven't seen you for a little while. Love to hear where you're at.
Been a while, Andrew. For those, I don't think I've had the pleasure of meeting Jean and Tanya before, but a few months since I've been on here. So with Andrew's guidance, it took me about 3 years to write the first draft of an autobiography.
It take 3 years.
I think it did. Anyway, so I'm in the financial services sector. I'm self-employed and come from reasonably humble beginnings, I guess. And so the autobiography is about my story and some of the mistakes and lessons and victories I've had along the way. First draft's probably fairly boring, I'd imagine, so it needs to be teased out a bit. But I'd probably hit a brick wall back in March, and I did, and I needed a rest. There was a fair bit of demand on me from the business, so spent that time getting the business into shape, focusing on my fitness, and time to pull the boots back on, Andrew.
Good, mate.
Get this job done.
Good, mate. Awesome. Good. And again, I don't care that you haven't been, well, I do care because I miss you, but you're here, and that's so important. And so I apologize, mate. It was 2018 when you and I started. But I mean, you'd finished the first draft in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then you did a second draft.
No, I haven't. But
haven't you?
That's
Okay.
that's not.
But that's awesome, mate. That's great. Okay. Well, good to have you back. And now we'll see this thing really start to take shape. And again, time, who cares? Doesn't matter. It's timing. It's all timing.
We won't let the truth spoil a good story then, Andrew.
No, we won't. We won't. Kat.
Yeah, it is all about timing. I had gotten off before I jumped on the Saturday call. I had seen that the woman that I've been hoping would do the physics review for my book. We knew each other about different countries, all time zones, all that, and so it'd been kind of a back and forth and kind of gaps and comms. And then I had reached out again under Andrew's watchful eye, because I was coming up with excuses for how I needed to word that perfectly, and he wouldn't let me out of that a week ago. And then when I woke up Saturday morning, I had a response from her. I hadn't had a chance to look at it before I jumped on the Saturday forum. Jumped onto it afterwards, and she had written back and just said she just finished a big motorcycle trip. She was just starting her new job. The stuff that was basically a big blocker for her to help me with the project was gone, and she was really excited to get started. And when could we chat? And we ended up chatting on Sunday. We chatted for a good set of hours because we're also, we get on very well. But I was able to walk her through my now completely completed project, kick off a plan with her on what's going to happen next. And her new job, she's even more excited about what my book is because of how it connects in with hers. With her world and work. And so she's really excited to get into it. and do the physics review. And knowing her, she won't be able to help herself. She'll read all the rest of it as well. And then, you know, I told her like, oh, you don't have to run all the experiments. Like we've already cross-tested those. And she's like, I'm like, she's gonna run all the
She wants
experiments.
to,
And
doesn't she?
yeah, she wants to, which is great. But it's just, it was one of those things that I was trying to not over request on her time and energy. But yeah, I have no doubt that she'll come back with even better suggestions. And yeah, timing. She, one of the people that she had that she stopped off and saw when she was on this big motorcycle trip across North America, is one of the authors of the Women in STEM Superheroes series. So that may be like, she might be able to do a like push the perspectives there to like, it's a niche area, right? So there's publishers in that space, and they don't always have open opportunities for unsolicited work. So there might be, you know, who knows what we don't know, but might be connections there on that space as well. So yeah, that was just really, really exciting, because it was kind of one of those, I did my piece, I spent my 600 whatever 2 days, you know, touching it every day. And then I kind of got to this like moment of like, oh no, and now what? Yeah, so that was really exciting. So I need to get her off all the documents and stuff, but that's my plan for today, now that I have a working computer again. Mine died on Saturday. That was the other thing that happened. So it's been an adventure. But yeah, so yeah, so that's really exciting. So that'll all go to her. And then my writing partner is now going to start doing he's now going to start taking the photos of every step of every one of the activities, so that we'll have all that ready to go as well. So once we do have a position of a publisher, we'll put it forward with our suggested images, but we'll have the backups if anyone wants anything different. And then we'll also have it all for like marketing material and stuff. So it feels like I feel like I'm finally out of that, like the very first draft, and I'm into the transition into the next draft, which is will follow quickly on from the edit work and from the images work. So we got over the little hump,
Good.
the out of control little hump. So yeah, very, very happy.
Awesome. That's great, exciting news. Well done. So is anyone unsure what Kat's project is? Tanya, do you want to just really quickly, Kat, just explain, because you talk about it as a project, and
yeah,
it's
fair
exciting.
enough.
It's a great idea. Just
yeah, so it's the person I'm working with is a former coworker of mine. We both worked at a company that does STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and maths. That company did STEM's education materials for teachers and students. We had an idea of, it has nothing to do with that business. That was mostly in robotics and coding. We had an idea of basically using physics concepts to create art as the byproduct of physics, because physics is somewhat invisible. So for example, we created a pendulum setup where the swinging bit of the pendulum is a cup, which has holes in the bottom. So when you put paint in it, and when you first swing it, it just makes like a painted line. But the way we've constructed is that you can then add magnets to the base. And because there's a magnet in the cup, when you swing it again, the magnets start to interfere with the pendulum movement. So you see magnetism and Newton's laws at work. So you can actually see, like, when it says like a system in motion will stay in motion unless acted on an outside force, that's very hard to see. So this is a way to make that seen. And at the end, you have this sort of, I mean, when I say art, Justine, it's not going on your walls. It's like a gallery. It's like very flattered. But yeah, so there's different concepts, and it's also, so that's like at the meta level, that's at the individual activity level. And then the book as a whole is sort of an introduction to the whole concept. So it's trying to take science and art off of pedestals and make it more accessible to everyone. So the very first activity is sort of an introduction of objective versus subjective reasoning. So they make these they soak paper, different types of paper, into colored water and lay them on like a golf ball to make little paper ghosts. And then you talk like which did they like best, but then which was the best paper for paper ghosts, to start to differentiate subjective versus objective and things like that. So the book as a whole, if you went through the whole book, would be kind of a journey into scientific thinking. But it's also designed so that an educator who already knows what they're doing could just pick and choose the activities they want to supplement roughly a year 7's physics or physical science curriculum. So that's the project. Yeah.
Wow,
Awesome.
exciting. It's so interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's a great educational thing. It's fun for kids, and it's such a cool idea.
Yes. So the reason we want the physics review is that neither of us are physicists, neither of us are artists, and I have a real pet peeve about something that says like, you do this, you pour that into that, and then science happened. Yeah, you learned something. And I'm like, well, did I? Because if it's all supposed to be implicit, I don't actually know what's happening. So we have at the end of every activity, we have a science behind the scenes explanation that actually walks through the science that you just encountered. But we do it in that way where you actually do the activity first, so you experience it, and then you get the backup of what happened that connects it back and makes it more sticky.
Yeah, it sounds like it'd be a real holistic way of learning because it's experimental. So it sounds very Steiner-like, very
yeah.
So I love it. It's very left and right
Thank you.
at the same time.
Yeah. So it's been a project that's needed a lot of passion and love because it's it's one of those things that's like explaining physics. You go 3 questions of why and like suddenly you're in quarks and gravitational black holes, and you're like, crap, I need to come backwards. That's too far. But yeah, so it's been a real project of love, but it's really niche as well, which is why we're like, publishers.
That's right. They're good. Well, there's pros and cons there, isn't there? Like, you might think that's a negative that it's so niche because there's not many publishers, but it's unique. So I think
No, you need to pick. There's publishers out there that purely just do educational books.
Yeah.
They're the ones that you need to target.
Yeah.
And yours is unique. So it's unique niche.
All right, you'll get a publisher
unique.
without any drama. It's just what type of publisher that you may get. You may get a hybrid one, or you want to go traditional, obviously.
Yeah, but because we do think it's important, we're really passionate about not having any pictures of the art in the book because we want that to be the point of discovery. But there are elements of like the setups of some of the activities where a photo would be quite helpful. So we have a vision on having some photos and we've seen some books like this in this space because we've both worked in this space. So it's not outside the realm of possibility of finding a publisher. We know that, but it is one of those like it will be a more expensive option and stuff. So like to find a traditional publisher that wants to get involved, I think we will find the right one where we both know that like, so there's another acronym called STEAM instead of STEM, and they throw art in with the mix. And true STEAM is really, really hard to do because it's like, even in our book, like you're only going to get a certain result some of the time. Like the things that you can change up are the magnets or something like that. But at the end of the day, the magnets will pull because of physics. The magnets will pull on the magnets, So, but yeah, the woman that's doing our physics review, she's massively into this education space, and she feels like it's a really strong, like she hasn't seen anything like that, and she knows a lot in this space. So we do think like, yay! It's just about connecting all those dots. So.
Yep. Brilliant. Okay. I think that's everyone. Now, Sue, is there anything you want to finish saying?
I was just listening to everyone else. No, I just think we're all at different stages, aren't we? And I think it's just so useful to see and hear where people are. It's almost like flashing a torchlight ahead, and you think, oh, there is something up there. And that's so cool, even though it's got obviously a very different genre. Each of us are doing different things. And Andrew, really resonate what you're saying about getting out. I've talked about it the other day about getting out of rhythm. You kind of have this thing that's working really well, and then you have this routine, and then suddenly you're knocked off base with the routine. And it's how do you manage that? How do you handle that so everything doesn't kind of just fall? These kind of things where you're kind of reminded about what it is, what tracks you're running on, because we've all got different things going on in our lives. There's loads of different things that are happening to us at the same time. It's also trying to write a book. What am I trying to say? That I think
be kind to yourself.
Reconnecting here is really good. Allowing a bit of flexibility about routine. don't beat yourself up, having compassion, having the celebration, and just acknowledging what we're doing. I think it's just really cool.
That's awesome, Sue. That's an awesome point, and I think we're so quick to beat ourselves up, aren't we? Whereas every day we should be celebrating. Whereas we think, well, you know, I should be doing that anyway, so that you don't see the reason to celebrate. But what I say, what gets recognized gets done, right? So the more you whatever you recognize, you're more likely to repeat. So, and that's why kids misbehave, right? Like we're the parents, you know, kids, they misbehave. Why do they misbehave? Because they want the attention. They're not getting the attention doing the right stuff. So let's do the wrong stuff to get attention. Any attention is good attention, and it's what gets recognized. And that's why parents yell at kids that are misbehaving. At least that's recognition, right? And so what we need to be able to do is recognize ourselves every single day for the good things we do, even if you think, well, it's not that big a deal. It is. It's a really big deal. And that includes that includes a day off if you really need it. You know, you know, it's been able to recognize what's going to help me be stronger, be better, be happier. Every little, you know, our lives are made up of so many tiny little different things that we do every day, right? Like think about everything you've done today, right? Or Jean, and so your day starting. But for the Australians, you know, we're at the other end of the day. Think of every single thing you've done today. That's our life is made up of all these little actions, these thoughts, these words, these tasks. That's what our life is. It's not a straight line. We need to recognize ourselves for every single one of them. Getting out of bed today, celebrate, because there are some people that can't get out of bed or don't get out of bed. Yeah. Celebrate that. Celebrate if you did some exercise today. Celebrate that. If you ate your breakfast today, celebrate that. You know, it sounds so dumb, doesn't it? But it's those things that are healthy. If you write one word today, if you thought about your book today, if you spoke to someone on the phone today and you supported them or encouraged them, or if you spent some time in the sun today, if you tidied your house today, if you whatever, you know, we've got to get better at going good on me for what I've just done, rather than what took me so long, or why didn't I do it last week? Like we're so good at finding a reason to beat ourselves up. Hey, how about we start finding a reason to build ourselves up? Okay, Justine, what did you want to say?
I am celebrating something.
Good. Let's hear it. Let's celebrate. This is going to be the start. Let's now all talk about something today that you want to celebrate, and we're going to celebrate with you. Okay, Justine, starting with you.
Well, you won't be happy with me when I tell you what it is, but anyway,
it's for your celebration, then we will celebrate with you.
So I co-authored another book.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know how to tell you, but anyway, I'm telling you now. This one
were you scared to tell me?
Yes.
Good. So
you gave me the daddy talk and the finger. Don't write any more co-author books. No. But yeah, so look, I wrote it ages ago, but it's being published on the 1st of October. It comes out on Kindle, and then mid-October for Amazon, and it's been very well done so far. All the back end of it, very well done. They've actually got their shit together, and it's been very good to learn as well from these guys and the platform that they're using to communicate with all the authors and what they've done. So yeah, it's been a learning curve, and it's the cheapest one that I've done at $500. So and it's called, would you like to know the name of the book, Andrew?
Yes, please, Justine.
It's called Victim to Victory.
Oh, I like it.
And I've never seen myself as a victim in absolutely everything that I've gone through. And I go through my chapter talking about that. So it's a business tool book as well, adding back into my business. So I find it, and this sounds really strange, but I find it very easy to co-author books, but very difficult to finish my own.
That's why you're not allowed to co-author any more books. Well done. Let's now. I want to ask you, Justine, today. What's something little you've done today that you would not normally celebrate? You would not normally pat yourself on the back for. What have you done today that we can celebrate with you?
Um,
Doesn't have to be a big deal.
probably just being here tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's been a tough 6 weeks and just being here tonight.
Good. Awesome. Well, hopefully you'll feel good after we're finished. But that's awesome. Okay, Jean, tell us.
Celebrating eating my soup as well. So.
Yay. Oh, nothing better than warm soup on a cool night, hey? Jean, what have you got to celebrate?
Yeah, I got the kid. I got the kids out the door this morning on time without any screaming and shouting.
Wow, that's great. Woohoo! Whoop, whoop. Okay, that's good. Tanya, what are we celebrating for you today? What have you done today that's worthy of celebration?
I did quite a few things today. Worthy of celebration. Well, it's normally my day off, but I've decided on my day off to like support someone else in their journey. So I've done that with work. So I'm doing a couple of hours work to help someone else. And I attended like a something with my husband that put me out of my comfort zone.
Okay. What was that? Do you mind sharing?
We did counselling together.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
That's great. Well done. That is out of comfort zone, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, good on you. I hope that helped.
It's all
Whatever you went to counselling for, we're not going to make any judgments here. You've got an amazing marriage, and you just want to take it to the next level.
We have, yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, I think that's an awesome thing to do. That's absolutely worthy of celebration. Well done.
Yeah. So
Good on you. Thanks, Tanya. Terry, tell us, mate. What are we celebrating for you today?
Oh, well, taking your lead there, probably a number of small things, but from starting off taking the dog for a walk this morning, she was pretty happy about that. Didn't do me any harm.
Well, she celebrated.
Yeah.
Wagging tail.
Then just a productive day at the office, and then good session at the gym tonight, and then top it off, here I am.
Oh, mate, it's a party day for you, isn't it? That's awesome, mate. Good on you. That's just those little things, taking the dog for a walk and exercise and being around in a positive group of people. Wow, if you did those 3 things every day, your life would be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, Terry. That's awesome. So I know it's early in your day, but I know you've been up at like 3 a.m. probably.
No. Well, yeah, I think celebrating, sticking to the plan, being here and getting some shit done before I got here, which I actually have done. I'm really fighting going and faffing around on a Monday morning like I normally do. I can so easily just get distracted by stuff, household stuff. But I didn't. I sat my ass down, and I have got a project that I need to get done. Andrew knows about it, and I actually moved it on a little bit, and it's out of my comfort zone. And I did that, and I've turned up here. So I'm actually.
You're very worthy of celebrating.
And chapter 8, as you were all talking, because Simon's done a Microsoft update, and I thought, shit, it's gone. And I've actually found it all on my own, literally just pressing a few buttons of bloody Outlook. Anyway, so I'm celebrating the fact that I've found it and put it in the right bloody folder. I've just got to get better. Yeah.
I know. One of the things I love every time I speak to Sue is I learn a new word, a new English, like faffing. Is anyone ever I think that's very English, isn't it? Faffing around.
I think most of us would probably understand what that is.
I don't know if the American, Kat, you probably never heard the word.
Faffing.
You're an Aussie now, but
we use faffing a lot at work because we're trying to reduce swear jar. There's another word we would be using for faffing. I think in Australia a lot more, but it also starts with an F. It's just not. It's
not filtered.
It's not as filtered.
Not filtered, but I don't even know whether, you know, the English, actually there is probably a genuine faff rather than an alternative one. I don't know. Who knows? It
That's
slips
awesome.
out.
It slips out. Okay. All right. Enough faffing around. And Kat, don't mute yourself. I think
Sorry,
you
apologies.
you need to. What are we celebrating? I mean, you've got lots of things. to
I
celebrate,
did
but
my
little
first-
thing. What's your little?
I did my first morning yoga today, since I just looked it up. I think the last one I did was the 29th of July, and before that it had been the 16th of July, and I had previously to that had been doing it basically every single day. So we can be grateful for spring on that one. Even though it's small ways, it's gotten definitely easier to get up. But no, that was really good. We talked a bit on Saturday about monk mode, which is a concept I'd recently read about, where it was an idea of a short time bound amount of, like 5 days, 7 days, something very short, and you take out a bad thing and put in a good thing. And after the Saturday, I decided I was gonna make sure I had at least 5 Fitbit registered active minutes a day. So I also got that done already today. So that was my other mini celebration. Good things happened at work. Well, I don't know. Things happened at work. I've moved something along at work. What can I say? I don't know. I think it worked. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Getting things done.
Celebrate. Well done. That's brilliant. Good. Well, my celebration is we've got a hard rubbish collection happening this week. I finally threw my couch out.
Because you've got a new house to put a new house in, a new couch.
Well, yeah, I need a new couch. I thought that couch, I've got this massive 3-seater couch, and it's so hard to move. And I thought, this new place I've got first floor, so stairs and I thought, no, hard rubbish, it's going out. So I'm now couchless, but it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Has it been picked up?
It's been picked up already today.
Did you tip it upside down and shake it and see if there's any money in it?
Yeah, I don't worry. I went through it. No money. Lots of stuff down there I didn't want to keep. So happy just to throw it out. So that's my sell. So I'm couchless, but I'm excited that I don't have to carry that couch up the stairs, another set of stairs. So cool. Well, before we sort of wrap up, has anyone got any questions or thoughts or comments or anything, any burning sort of issues that they want to deal with while we're all here as a group? Anything?
I mean, I wrote it in the chat, but I just want to thank you, because in the last 12 months, and we've been together just over 12 months now, that, I have co-authored 4 books and, finished and written my children's book, and have that published. So, without your support and encouragement and coming into these forums, it wouldn't have happened. It really wouldn't have happened. So thank you.
You're welcome, Justine. I thank you, and I appreciate that. I somehow think that you probably would have done it anyway.
Maybe not as fast.
But I'm glad that I can be some help in your journey, because what you have brought to these forums, and I think everyone that knows you will agree that you've brought an incredible amount of inspiration and motivation to people. You've helped people get over themselves. You've taken away lots of excuses, for sure. So you bring enormous amounts. So thank you.
Now I feel guilty because I've been making excuses.
You haven't made any. You've made no excuses.
Oh.
All right. Anyway, now did someone else have their hand up there?
Sue did.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the inspiration, the ripple effect of inspiration. So thank you very much for that. So yeah, it's been.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hugely appreciated.
I've got a question for Justine, if you don't mind.
No.
Oh.
Just like with your children's book, you said that one time I heard you say about I think your auntie was a graphic artist.
Yeah.
With doing your own sketches, how do you transform, so if you do your own illustrations for a book, Do you need a graphic artist to translate them into from like a sketch to graphic art?
No, so I already had the pictures all painted. So they were ready just then to be, I took them and got them professionally high res scanned.
Yeah.
And then put them on a USB and gave them to her. And then we worked out what each page was going to look like, and she formatted them, but the bulk of it was already there. So
That's
then
what
I had to pick the font. You got to pick your font type, whether your font's going to be in black and white or whether you want colored font, and how you actually, if you want it on a double page, so the picture across 2 pages, or if you want the words on 1 page and the picture on the other. So you got to start visualizing what you want your book to look like. And that's any of our books, whether it's a children's picture book, or even Tears of Joy, Andrew, any of those you have in your mind of what you want it to look like. And
that's what I was wondering, before you actually do the images, is it best to to have them a certain size before you do the paintings?
Yes, you've got to work out whether you want the picture just on 1 page, which would then be you got to work out whether you want the book as a square book, or if you want it as a just a normal, I've gone blank.
Just so you know, Tanya's book is not a picture storybook. Tanya's book is a chapter book.
So
yeah, so it's for a older audience. So it's for 8 to 12, isn't it? 7 to 12, something like that. So it's actually a book they can read. So there's more words, a lot more words than a picture story.
So
we'll just have pictures inserted in throughout the text, throughout the book, rather than necessarily one every single page.
Well, that would come more down to where you want the illustrations actually put onto which pages, and then not so much the graphic artist, but the typesetter.
But
yeah, and you still have to work out what size book you visualize it going into, as well as to how many words on each page it's going to be.
So it's not something I need to worry about. Is that why you were saying do the images later, Andrew?
Do all your writing first, then go back and then work out.
Yeah, because if you're going to get a publisher to publish it for you, a lot of them have the illustrators that will do it, unless you're submitting some little pictures that you've hand drawn that you want to go and insert it into those chapters. If you're using a traditional publisher, and Andrew's probably been through this, so sorry if I'm duplicating, they'll have their own graphic artists, and those graphic artists will do your title, your front cover and everything for you. So
yeah, if you want to do your own images though,
well, then you include those images with the chapter.
You can I would submit to it. You wouldn't do all of them, because the publishers may not want to use. They may say, well, we don't want to use your stuff. And if you want to, then you might have to shop it, because I know Justine's had a lot of publishers that haven't really suited her and what she wants to put in the book and wants to do with the book. So
yeah, well, I got 5 publishers, so I submitted to 31 and I got 5 contracts, but none of them would let me do what I wanted to do with the book, and that's like produce the cards and the prints and the dogs and everything as well. And they were all hybrid publishers, so they were still going to cost me, between $2,000 to $6,000 to do that. And I'm like, well, no, I'm better off taking that money and then just doing what I want, what I want with the book. It's, it is harder because I have to now market it all myself, but I was prepared to take that risk. And, I went out and did a speaking gig the other night and sold 6 books.
Yeah.
So, and that's my audience. It'll go up in Amazon in the next couple of weeks as well. And sell itself. We'll do some Google ads and stuff like that to get it there, but I haven't been concentrating on the traditional bookstores, and it's available in areas around Geelong. I'm going up to northern New South Wales in November, and I'm taking books then. Tomorrow I'm posting books up to Townsville, so they'll be there next week, and I'll get it in some shops and that up there. But It just depends what you visualize and what you see, where you want your book to go and what you want it to do. But just write it first. If you've only got little illustrations, they can be done at the end. Don't get hooked up on those. Don't get hooked up, so much about all the typesetting and that at the moment. Just write it. Just write it and get your shitty first draft just done, and then worry about where you're going to put it.
She's saying the shitty first draft. Okay.
Yeah,
That's Justine. Yeah, that's Justine's patented trademark. Yeah, one thing I will say, Tanya, on because I've done a lot of images to scale. Images can go down. They can only go up to it. Like, they don't go up well. So if you are thinking like it might be a quarter, if you in your mind think it might be a quarter page of a standard kids novel or whatever,
yes,
and there's lots of guides. You can find them, like any of the cartoonists that have like what YouTube sites will show you how to do it. You can either, if you're very particular on the sizing, they'll show you how to do a mapped like grid effect basically to make it bigger. But as long as it's bigger and roughly, if you're thinking normal square, like squares, probably the shape, just make it like double or quadruple shape, and then it can go down and it'll be nice and crisp. If it goes up, it'll get fuzzed and it won't work well. So
yeah, thanks for that.
And get them scanned on the highest res scan that you can actually afford, and it's not much to get them scanned either. But shop around, because some people will charge you $12 a page, and I went to another place that charged me $1 a page, and it was a higher res and a better scanner. So shop around for those.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
And if you need an illustrator, let me know.
Well, Tony,
Yeah.
Tony's an artist as well, so she's got those skills. Anyone else got questions or comments or anything else they want to say? Are you praying, Sue? What? Sue's praying.
She she's freezing in weird.
She's frozen in prayer.
Yeah.
You need to screenshot that and send it to her.
Yeah, she's definitely not flapping.
She's not flapping.
Faffing.
All right. Okay, guys. Well, we might wrap it up tonight, today, this morning, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Awesome. Now I do need I do need to say this, just so you're aware. There will be unfortunately, no forum in October, and the reason is because
you're couch shopping.
my next sort of 30 to 45 days are going to be pretty crazy and hectic with moving and settling and buying a couch and stuff like that. And this time next month settles on the 10th of October. So if you guys are okay, it'll be and I think I've already sent out the info for the November forums. So I'll see you in 2 months unless I see you before. And Terry, if you let me know if you want to start catching up, connecting again. And Jen, you know where I am, and everyone else.
Thank you.
See you next month, Andrew.
You have a wonderful holiday. Justin, you have a rest. Okay, or else.
Yes, I will, or I'll end up in hospital. I know everyone's telling me off. So
yeah, good.
I'll see you back.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
See you soon.
See everybody.
See you guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bye.